With the increased attention this year, there's also been increased scrutiny about the quality of refereeing. Curious if there has been any conversation about whether it's referee pay, referee training, anything to ensure that is as good as it can be.
The WNBA faces a pivotal moment. Rising stars like Caitlin Clark and an influx of new talent promise greatness, but a refereeing crisis threatens to overshadow it all. Today, we're diving into the heart of this controversy that's shaking the foundation of women's basketball. From Cathy Engelbert's surprising stance on WNBA referees to the shocking evidence of bias in the finals, we're exposing the full story. Fans are demanding change, and the future of the league hangs in the balance. As we peel back the layers of this officiating debacle, you'll see why players, coaches, and supporters are up in arms.
Yeah, and the one thing as a very long-term sports fan I know is that officiating and refereeing is always at the top of a fan's list, of the media's list.
The integrity of the game is at stake, and the clock is ticking for the WNBA to address these issues. Get ready for an eye-opening look at the challenges facing the WNBA and the potential consequences if left unchecked. Before we break it down, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? Let's go.
Last night's WNBA Finals game was absolutely rigged, and there is so much proof. What a terrible way to end this WNBA season.
With just 5.2 seconds left on the clock, a whistle pierced the air. The crowd held its breath, unaware that this single moment would spark a controversy that would rock the WNBA to its core. Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. The Minnesota Lynx and New York Liberty locked in a fierce battle, the score at 60 for the Lynx and 58 for the Liberty. As the final seconds ticked away, all eyes were on the court, waiting for a game-defining play, with a championship seemingly closing in for Minnesota. Suddenly, Lynx forward Alana Smith found herself guarding Liberty star Breanna Stewart. The whistle blew. Foul on Smith. The crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and boos, the controversy already brewing. As Stewart stepped to the line for two crucial free throws which tied the game and sent it to overtime, fans and players alike were left wondering, what just happened? Upon closer inspection, the call raised eyebrows. Stewart appeared to take multiple steps before going up for the shot, and there seemed to be no clear contact between the players. Nothing that would typically warrant a foul call in such a crucial moment.
And she doesn't just take one extra step. Let's count here how many steps she takes when she gets the ball. I'm gonna put this in slow motion. Okay, so she gets the ball here. She jumps 1, 2, 3, 4. She at least jumps 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. She at least takes 4 steps at minimum. She might have taken 5.
The basketball world reacted swiftly. NBA stars like LeBron James and Damian Lillard took to social media, questioning the call and the overall officiating of the game. Their comments echoed the frustration of fans who felt the outcome had been unfairly influenced. As the controversy raged on, everyone waited for an explanation. How could such a pivotal moment be decided by such a questionable call? The anticipation built as the WNBA scrambled to address the growing outcry.
You can see in this photo here, which is right before Stewie goes up with the ball, Alana Smith is not touching her at all. She has 2 fingers that look like slightly tapping the ball. Her body isn't touching Breanna Stewart. Her arm isn't touching Breanna Stewart. There was clearly zero contact here.
The official justification came, but it only fueled the fire. The referee's explanation that Smith was not in a legal guarding position left many basketball experts scratching their heads. This rarely invoked term seemed at odds with what many saw on the court. This controversial call exposed deeper issues within the WNBA's officiating system. Fans weren't just angry about one game. They were questioning the integrity of the league itself. From the application of rules in crucial moments to the transparency of officiating decisions, it was clear that changes were needed. As the dust settled on Game 5, the conversation was far from over. This moment had opened Pandora's box, bringing to light a host of issues that the WNBA would need to address. The league was about to face scrutiny like never before, and the path forward was anything but clear.
WNBA season, and you do not overturn this call after seeing not only the travel that came before it, but then also the no contact when she went up with the ball. It's crazy. If this were on the NBA side, that referee would have been fired before the game even ended. But here is the reasoning as to why they didn't overturn this foul. So this is what the ref said.
Breanna Smith is not in a legal guarding position. Therefore, Stewart will be shooting 2 free throws. And Minnesota will start timeout.
So Alana Smith is not in legal guarding position.
Little did anyone know, this controversial call was merely the beginning. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert just came out from a recent press conference held during the WNBA Finals, speaking about the refereeing issue, and her shocking dismissal of poor officiating has fans and players alike wondering, is this the breaking point for the WNBA? If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action. This whole mess points to a bigger problem within the WNBA's leadership. When the commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, was asked about the quality of refereeing, her response was shockingly dismissive. "They're human," she said. Let's roll the footage.
Obviously, not every, they're humans. Looking at technology, basketball is a little more complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions.
As Game 5 concluded, a startling statistic emerged that painted a troubling picture. The free throw disparity between the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty was so stark, it raised eyebrows across the league. The Liberty had shot an astounding number of free throws compared to the Lynx, a gap that couldn't be explained by aggressive play alone. This imbalance represented a fundamental shift in the game's dynamics, one that seemed to favor New York at every turn. Lynx star Napheesa Collier found herself on the receiving end of numerous no-calls, driving to the basket and absorbing contact without reward.
And it motivates me to never try to have the game that close again where it can be decided by whoever it was decided by. Yeah.
As the final buzzer sounded, the controversy reached a boiling point. Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve didn't hold back in the post-game press conference. Her words, dripping with frustration and barely contained anger, echoed through the basketball world. Reeve laid bare what she saw as a systemic problem plaguing the league.
The challenge, we have got to change our challenge rules, and the officials doing the game should have a third party, because that was not a foul. That call should have been reversed on that challenge. If we sent that clip in, well, first of all, Napheesa Collier, number of times that she's held, et cetera, and there's nothing down that end, right? Which it's kind of, for whatever reason in the series, that was kind of the way it was.
The basketball community held its breath, waiting to see how the WNBA would respond. As hours turned into days, speculation ran rampant. Would Reeve face punishment for her candid remarks? Or would her words be the catalyst for much-needed change? In a move that shocked many, the WNBA announced its decision. Cheryl Reeve would not be fined for her post-game comments. This unprecedented step spoke volumes. To many, it was a tacit acknowledgement of the issues Reeve had raised, a silent nod to the validity of her concerns. The decision not to fine Reeve opened the floodgates. Players, coaches, and analysts felt emboldened to speak out about the state of officiating in the WNBA. The conversation had shifted from a single game to the integrity of the league as a whole. As the dust settled on this latest development, it became clear that the WNBA was at a crossroads. The controversy surrounding Game 5's officiating had evolved into a broader debate about fairness, consistency, and the future of women's basketball. But even as the league grappled with these weighty issues, another storm was brewing on the horizon, one that would push the controversy to new heights and force the WNBA to confront questions of bias and integrity head-on. Just when it seemed the controversy couldn't get any more heated, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert stepped into view. Her appearance at the trophy ceremony was meant to be a moment of triumph. Instead, it became the spark that would set the basketball world ablaze. What did Engelbert do that had fans questioning the very integrity of the league?
When you thought it couldn't get any worse, fans were noticing the commissioner's outfit that she wore for the trophy presentation.
The championship ceremony should have been a pinnacle moment for the WNBA. The New York Liberty had emerged victorious in a hotly contested final series, and the Barclays Center buzzed with excitement. As players, coaches, and officials gathered on the court, all eyes turned to Commissioner Engelbert, who would present the coveted trophy. But as Engelbert took center stage, a collective gasp rippled through the crowd. The commissioner's attire immediately drew attention, featuring elements that many perceived as favoring the New York team. In an instant, the focus shifted from the championship to Engelbert's questionable wardrobe choice. The implications were immediate and far-reaching. Here was the league's top official, tasked with maintaining impartiality, wearing what appeared to be a blatant show of favoritism. The timing couldn't have been worse, coming on the heels of the controversial officiating that had marred the final game.
Her dress. It's literally the New York skyline. And okay, I kind of get it. They're playing in New York, so no matter what team wins, but you have a New York team playing their final game in New York. This is just basic IQ. Like, I would like to test the IQ of everyone in management at the WNBA and see if any of them are qualified to run any major business.
The basketball world erupted with outrage. Fans, analysts, and even casual observers weighed in on the incident. The prevailing sentiment was clear. A commissioner should never appear to favor one team over another, especially during the championship game. Engelbert's outfit became a symbol of everything critics felt was wrong with the league's leadership. Some suggested that the league wasn't even trying to hide its bias anymore, with the commissioner's choice serving as a brazen acknowledgement of favoritism towards the New York market. As hours turned into days, the basketball world held its breath, waiting for an official response from the WNBA. Surely, they thought, the league would address this glaring misstep. They would offer an explanation, an apology, or at least acknowledge the poor optics of the situation. But the silence from WNBA headquarters was deafening. No official statement was issued addressing Engelbert's wardrobe or the accusations of bias that swirled around it. This lack of response only fueled further speculation and criticism. Was the league hoping the controversy would simply blow over? Or was there a more calculated reason behind their silence?
An overhaul needs to happen from top down. Like, on every level, it's just disaster after disaster after disaster after disaster. Like, this, at this point, it's laughable. I can't even hold back at this point. There were so many people, former WNBA players, current WNBA players, coming out and just saying how bad the referees were, how that could actually happen in the finals game. And then the commissioner is on stage in a New York skyline dress. How can people not think it's rigged?
The incident became a Rorschach test for fans' views on the league's integrity. For those already skeptical of the WNBA's fairness, it confirmed their worst suspicions. For loyal supporters, it presented a difficult challenge to their faith in the league's leadership. But even as the basketball world grappled with the implications of Engelbert's wardrobe malfunction, new questions were emerging. Was this simply a series of unfortunate coincidences, or was there something deeper at play? As fans and analysts dug deeper, they began to uncover a pattern that suggested the issues plaguing the WNBA might run far deeper than anyone had initially suspected. The WNBA Finals controversy exposed deep-rooted issues that threatened the league's integrity. As fans and analysts dissected the events, they uncovered a series of decisions that raised eyebrows and sparked heated debates about potential bias. Jason Whitlock, a provocative voice in sports media, didn't hold back. He boldly labeled the WNBA as the worst-run league in American sports history, suggesting that Game 5 was a rigged embarrassment. Whitlock's scathing critique implied deliberate manipulation to secure a New York Liberty championship.
This is the worst run sports league in the history of America. They get one gift, Caitlin Clark, and the entire league, for the most part, hates Caitlin Clark and tries to diminish Caitlin Clark and want to showcase all of these other women that people aren't interested in.
The allegations forced a confrontation with an uncomfortable question. Was there truth to the notion of a rigged game? Skeptics pointed to questionable calls, a stark free throw disparity, and Commissioner Engelbert's ill-timed fashion choice as evidence. Others maintained that human error and unfortunate coincidences were to blame. The financial implications of a New York championship loomed large. A Liberty title could potentially boost viewership, attract lucrative sponsorships, and increase overall league revenue. In a league still fighting for mainstream recognition, the allure of a New York-sized boost was undeniable. Experts warned that the perception of bias could have devastating consequences. The integrity of the game, once lost, becomes nearly impossible to regain. The controversy threatened to alienate die-hard supporters and deter potential new fans, potentially undoing years of progress. As the basketball world grappled with these issues, attention turned to potential solutions.
The NBA Replay Center will provide on-site referees with superior tools and more control over the video review process.
The NBA's 2-minute report and the NHL's centralized officiating system offered inspiration for enhancing transparency and consistency. Proposals for the WNBA ranged from enhanced referee training to advanced replay technology.
I'm Brendan Shanahan of the National Hockey League's Department of Player Safety. Throughout the season, we will provide video examples of both legal hockey plays and illegal plays that rise to the level of supplemental discipline.
Some called for an independent oversight committee to review contentious calls and ensure impartiality. Others suggested stricter guidelines for league officials to avoid even the appearance of favoritism. The implementation of a challenge system, similar to those used in other sports, gained traction as a way to address controversial calls in real time. The WNBA now stands at a critical juncture. The actions taken in response to this crisis will shape the future of women's professional basketball. Will the league seize this moment as an opportunity for meaningful reform? The eyes of the basketball world are watching, waiting to see if the WNBA can turn this controversy into a catalyst for positive change that ensures fair play and restores faith in the game's integrity.
Because the WNBA and sports now are so into narrative, so anti-merit, so into what's the best story for the league.
The WNBA faces a critical juncture as controversies from the finals expose deep-rooted issues. Questionable officiating and perceived bias at high levels have shaken the foundation of the league. The path forward demands decisive action to restore faith in the game's integrity. To rebuild trust, the WNBA must implement stricter officiating standards and enhance transparency. These reforms are crucial for regaining the confidence of fans and players alike. By addressing these challenges head-on, the league has an opportunity to transform this moment of uncertainty into a turning point for positive change. The future of the WNBA hangs in the balance. With a renewed commitment to fair play and accountability, the league can emerge from this turbulent period stronger and more respected. As the clock ticks down on this pivotal moment, all eyes are on the WNBA's next move. The league's response will determine whether it can rise to the occasion and secure its place as a beacon of excellence in women's sports. Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.